Join us for another exciting episode of Bedtime History. We'd greatly appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Whether it's a quick hello or where you're tuning in from, we love hearing from you. Your support helps us grow and share more stories, and we'll respond to every comment. Ready to get started? Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Story 1. Why did pharaohs have so many wives, and how did they manage them all? In the sun-scorched sands of ancient Egypt, where the Nile River carved a lifeline through the desert, the pharaohs reigned as living gods, their every action steeped in divine purpose and earthly power. Among their most intriguing practices was their penchant for taking multiple wives, a custom that wove together politics, religion, and the very survival of their dynasties. To understand why pharaohs amassed sprawling harems and how they orchestrated the complex lives of their many consorts, we must journey back to a world of towering pyramids, sacred rituals, and intricate palace intrigues, where love, ambition, and divine duty intertwined under the watchful eyes of the gods. In ancient Egypt, polygamia wasn't just a personal choice, it was a societal cornerstone, especially for the pharaoh, who stood at the pinnacle of a rigidly hierarchical world. This practice was deeply embedded in the cultural and religious fabric of the time, reflecting the Egyptians' belief in order, balance, and divine harmony, known as Ma'at. For the pharaoh, taking multiple wives was not merely about indulgence, but a strategic act to secure his legacy and the stability of his realm. The pharaoh was seen as a conduit between the mortal and divine, tasked with maintaining Ma'at through his actions, including his marriages. Polygamy allowed him to forge alliances, produce heirs, and embody the divine abundance associated with gods like Amun and Osiris, who were often depicted with multiple consorts in mythology. This wasn't just a man collecting wives, it was a god-king weaving a tapestry of power that stretched across generations and regions. One of the most compelling reasons for a pharaoh's many marriages was the forging of political alliances. Egypt was a land of diverse regions and powerful noble families, each vying for influence. By marrying daughters of regional governors, high priests, or foreign kings, a pharaoh could bind these factions to his rule, creating a network of loyalty that stabilized his kingdom. Take, for example, the marriage of Amenhotep III to Tiye, a woman of non-royal birth whose family held significant influence. Her elevation to great royal wife cemented her family's loyalty and gave Amenhotep a foothold in their power base. Similarly, foreign princesses, such as the daughters of Mitanni or Hittite kings, were often wed to seal peace treaties or trade agreements, their presence in the harem a living symbol of diplomacy. These marriages weren't just unions of individuals but contracts between powers, with each wife acting as a thread in the intricate web of Egyptian politics. The pharaoh's harem, then, was less a place of romance and more a diplomatic chessboard, where every move strengthened the kingdom's foundation. Yet beyond politics, the pressure to produce a male heir loomed large over the pharaoh's marital choices. In a society where the divine right to rule passed through bloodlines, securing a male successor was paramount. A pharaoh's legitimacy rested on his ability to ensure the continuity of his dynasty, and multiple wives increased the odds of producing healthy sons. Infant mortality was high, and the dangers of childbirth or disease could claim heirs before they reached adulthood. By maintaining a large harem, a pharaoh hedged his bets, ensuring that at least one son would survive to inherit the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. This wasn't just about numbers, it was about survival. A lack of heirs could plunge Egypt into chaos, inviting rival factions or foreign invaders to challenge the throne. The pharaoh's wives, therefore, were not just partners but vital instruments in safeguarding the kingdom's future, their fertility a matter of state security. Within the harem, not all wives were equal. The hierarchy was as rigid as the stone blocks of the pyramids, with the great royal wife at the apex. This principal consort, often the mother of the heir, held unparalleled status, her influence extending into politics, religion, and court life. She was a queen in her own right, often depicted alongside the pharaoh in statues and reliefs, her image carved into eternity. Queens like Nefertiti or Hatshepsut, who herself became a pharaoh, wielded power that shaped Egypt's destiny, from advising on state matters to performing sacred rituals. Below her were secondary wives, often daughters of nobles or foreign allies, who held lesser but still significant roles. Then came the concubines, women of lower status, whose primary role was to bear children or provide companionship. Each group had distinct privileges and responsibilities, their status reflected in everything from their quarters in the palace to the jewelry they wore. The great royal wife might wear a vulture headdress, symbolizing her divine connection to the goddess Nekhbet, while a concubine's adornments were simpler, her role more transient. Managing such a diverse and potentially volatile group of women required a system as sophisticated as Egypt's bureaucracy. The harem was not a chaotic collection of wives, but a meticulously organized institution, often housed in a separate palace complex like the one at Medinet Habu. Here, a staff of scribes, stewards, and female overseers, often trusted noblewomen, kept order. These administrators ensured that each wife received her due, from food and clothing to opportunities to meet with the pharaoh. The harem was a microcosm of the kingdom, with its own economy, producing textiles, perfumes, and other goods. To prevent conflicts, strict protocols governed interactions, and the pharaoh's visits were carefully scheduled to balance attention among his wives. Yet the system wasn't foolproof. Rivalries simmered, and the pharaoh's favor could shift like the Nile's floods, creating tension that required delicate handling to avoid outright rebellion within the palace walls. Religion infused every aspect of these marriages, elevating them beyond mere contracts. The pharaoh, as a living god, was expected to emulate the divine order, and his multiple wives mirrored the consorts of gods like Amun, whose divine unions ensured cosmic fertility. Marrying multiple women was a sacred act, reinforcing the pharaoh's role as a divine figure whose potency sustained Egypt's prosperity. Some wives, particularly the great royal wife, held titles like God's Wife of Amun, a role that granted them immense religious authority. They performed rituals in temples, channeling divine favor to the land. These ceremonies, rich with incense and chants, linked the harem to the gods, making the pharaoh's marriages a bridge between the mortal and divine realms. Each wife, in her own way, contributed to this sacred narrative, her presence a testament to the pharaoh's divine mandate. Life in the pharaoh's palace was a whirlwind of activity, where the daily routines of the harem unfolded against a backdrop of opulence and ritual. The women lived in luxurious quarters, surrounded by lotus-shaped columns and vibrant frescoes depicting scenes of abundance. Their days were filled with tasks suited to their rank. The great royal wife might oversee religious ceremonies or diplomatic correspondence, while secondary wives and concubines engaged in weaving, music, or caring for their children. The pharaoh's visits were rare and highly anticipated, often accompanied by lavish feasts or performances. Yet the harem was also a place of learning and culture, where women were educated in writing, music, and religious law, their talents contributing to the palace's prestige. The pharaoh himself, when not leading armies or consulting with advisors, might join his wives in moments of leisure, playing board games like Senet or strolling through palace gardens, the Nile shimmering in the distance. The children born of these unions were more than just offspring. They were the future of the dynasty. Sons were groomed for leadership, educated in military strategy, governance, and religious rites, often under the watchful eye of their mothers. Daughters, too, held value, often married to foreign princes to cement alliances or to their own brothers to preserve the royal bloodline, a practice that, while shocking today, was seen as a way to maintain divine purity. These children were raised in the harem, surrounded by tutors, nurses, and guards, their upbringing a blend of privilege and preparation. A prince like Tutankhamun, born to a secondary wife, could rise to the throne, his mother's status less important than his divine lineage. The harem, then, was a crucible for shaping Egypt's future rulers, each child a potential link in the chain of divine rule. Yet, beneath the surface of this carefully orchestrated world, rivalries bubbled. The harem was a hotbed of ambition, where wives vied for the pharaoh's attention and the chance to see their son crowned heir. Jealousy could flare over a gift of gold jewelry or a night spent with the pharaoh, and historical records hint at darker intrigues, poison plots and conspiracies, like the one against Ramses III, where a secondary wife sought to elevate her son by eliminating rivals. These tensions were inevitable in a system where status and survival depended on favor. The great royal wife often held sway, but even she wasn't immune to challenges from ambitious secondary wives or concubines who bore favored sons. The pharaoh, aware of these dynamics, relied on his advisors and harem overseers to keep peace, but the human heart, even in a divine palace, was unpredictable. The great royal wife's role extended far beyond motherhood or ceremony. She was a political powerhouse. Women like Tia or Nefertari wielded influence that rivaled the pharaoh's advisors. They corresponded with foreign rulers, managed vast estates, and served as high priestesses, their authority rooted in their proximity to the divine king. Nefertari, for instance, accompanied Ramses II on diplomatic missions, her presence at his side a signal of Egypt's strength. These women were not mere ornaments, but active players in the game of power, their intelligence and charisma shaping policy and legacy. Their tombs, adorned with vivid paintings and inscriptions, attest to their importance, their names echoing through history as partners in the pharaoh's divine mission. Among the pharaohs, few exemplified the practice of polygamy as vividly as Ramses II, the great warrior king who ruled for 66 years and fathered over 100 children. His harem included Nefertari, his beloved great royal wife, alongside dozens of secondary wives and concubines, many of whom were foreign princesses. His marriages strengthened Egypt's ties with neighbors like the Hittites, while his vast progeny ensured his dynasty's endurance. Other pharaohs, like Akhenaten, took a different approach, elevating Nefertiti to near equal status, her image carved as prominently as his own. These men's harems weren't just personal indulgences, but strategic tools, their wives and children reinforcing their reigns as monuments like the Great Pyramid reinforced their immortality. The distinction between consorts and concubines was stark. Consorts, whether the great royal wife or secondary wives, held official status, their marriages sealed with ceremonies and recorded in inscriptions. They enjoyed legal rights, such as inheriting property or managing estates. Concubines, often of humbler origins, had fewer privileges, their role centered on bearing children or providing pleasure. While a concubine's son could rise to the throne, as with Tutankhamun, her status remained precarious, dependent on the pharaoh's favor. This hierarchy was visible in everything from living quarters to burial rites, with consorts entombed in grand valleys and concubines in simpler graves. Yet, both groups played vital roles, their contributions woven into the fabric of the royal court. Marriage ceremonies in ancient Egypt were spectacles of divine and earthly power. A royal wedding, especially for a great royal wife, involved elaborate rituals, with priests invoking blessings from gods like Hathor, the goddess of love. The bride, adorned in fine linen and gold, might process through the city, her arrival celebrated with music and offerings. These ceremonies reinforced the pharaoh's divine status, each wife a reflection of his potency and favor with the gods. Even secondary wives and concubines underwent rituals, though less grand, their unions marked by offerings and feasts. These events weren't just celebrations, but public affirmations of the pharaoh's authority, binding his wives to him and to Egypt's sacred order. Archaeologists have pieced together this world through painstaking discoveries. Tombs like those in the Valley of the Queens reveal the lives of royal wives through their treasures, jewelry, cosmetics, and inscriptions praising their virtues. Papyrus scrolls detail harem administration, while temple reliefs depict queens in divine poses. Sites like Deir el-Medina, a workers' village, offer glimpses into the lives of lower-status women connected to the harem, their letters and artifacts hinting at daily struggles and triumphs. These findings, often unearthed after centuries beneath the sand, bring the voices of these women to life, their stories etched in stone and papyrus for modern eyes to decipher. The legacy of the pharaoh's wives endures in Egypt's history. Women like Hatshepsut, who defied tradition to rule as pharaoh, or Cleopatra, whose marriages shaped empires, left indelible marks on culture and politics. Their influence extended beyond their lifetimes, their names invoked in temples, and their images immortalized in art. Even lesser-known wives, through their children or diplomatic roles, helped shape Egypt's golden age, their contributions a testament to the power of the harem as a political and cultural force. As we drift into sleep, imagine the Nile's gentle flow, the palace alive with whispers of ambition and devotion, and the women whose lives, bound to the god-king, wove a story that echoes through the ages, a tale of power, love, and the eternal quest for immortality. Story 2. Why did pharaohs wear masks? The surprising truth. In the heart of ancient Egypt, where the Nile's life-giving waters nourished a civilization of breathtaking grandeur, the pharaohs ruled as gods among men. Their lives were steeped in ritual, their deaths orchestrated with meticulous care to ensure their journey into eternity. Among the most iconic artifacts of their legacy are the magnificent funerary masks, shimmering with gold and encrusted with jewels, that adorned their mummified remains. These masks were far more than ornate decorations. They were sacred vessels of divine power, crafted to guide the pharaoh through the perilous journey of the afterlife, protect their soul, and cement their eternal legacy. To uncover the surprising truth behind why pharaohs wore masks, we must step into a world where art, religion, and immortality intertwined, revealing a story as captivating as the treasures buried beneath the sands. The religious significance of these masks was profound, rooted in the Egyptians' intricate beliefs about death and the afterlife. The pharaoh, seen as a living god, was believed to transform into a divine being akin to Osiris, the lord of the underworld, upon death. The funerary mask was a sacred tool in this transformation, a bridge between the mortal and divine realms. Crafted to cover the face of the mummified pharaoh, the mask ensured his spiritual rebirth by aligning him with Osiris, whose myth of death and resurrection was central to Egyptian theology. The mask's idealized features, serene, youthful, and godlike, reflected this divine connection, preparing the pharaoh for his eternal role among the gods. It was not merely a covering but a sacred emblem, imbued with rituals and prayers to guide the king's soul, or Ka, through the dangers of the underworld to eternal life. Beyond transformation, the mask served a critical function in preserving the pharaoh's identity for eternity. The Egyptians believed that the soul needed to recognize its body to inhabit it in the afterlife. A damaged or unrecognizable face could sever this connection, dooming the soul to wander aimlessly. The mask, with its carefully sculpted likeness, ensured that the pharaohs, bar the aspect of the soul that could travel between worlds, could always find its home. This was no mere portrait, it was a stylized representation blending the pharaoh's features with divine ideals, ensuring his identity endured forever. In a culture obsessed with permanence, where stone monuments and hieroglyphs were built to defy time, the mask was a vital safeguard, anchoring the pharaoh's essence to his earthly form for all eternity. Protection was another key role of the mask, extending beyond the physical to the spiritual realm. The Egyptians believed the afterlife was fraught with dangers, malevolent spirits, chaotic forces, and demonic entities that could threaten the soul's journey. The funerary mask acted as a spiritual shield, its divine imagery and inscribed spells warding off these threats. Symbols like the uraeus, the rearing cobra on the forehead, invoked the protection of Wadjet, the goddess who guarded Lower Egypt, while the mask's gleaming surface was thought to radiate divine light, repelling evil. Priests performed rituals to imbue the mask with Heka, the magical force that powered Egyptian religion, making it a potent talisman. For the pharaoh lying in his sarcophagus, the mask was both armor and beacon, guiding him safely through the underworld's shadows. The materials used in these masks were as significant as their purpose. Crafted from gold, lapis lazuli, turquoise, and other precious materials, they reflected the pharaoh's divine status and Egypt's immense wealth. Gold, believed to be the flesh of the gods, was especially symbolic, its imperishable nature mirroring the pharaoh's quest for immortality. The Mask of Tutankhamun, perhaps the most famous example, dazzles with its inlaid blue glass and gemstones, its craftsmanship a testament to the artisan's skill and the kingdom's resources. These materials weren't chosen for mere opulence. They were believed to preserve the body and enhance its divine power. The mask's weight and splendor were a declaration to both the living and the gods that this was no ordinary man, but a deity whose legacy would shine forever. Tutankhamun's mask, discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, stands as the pinnacle of this tradition. Weighing over 22 pounds and crafted from solid gold, it captures the young king's face in serene, godlike perfection, its eyes of obsidian and quartz gazing into eternity. The mask's discovery, nearly intact in his undisturbed tomb, revealed the artistry and spiritual depth of Egyptian funerary practices. The uraeus and vulture on its brow, symbols of royal authority, and the intricate inlays of lapis and carnelian spoke of a civilization that poured its wealth and devotion into ensuring its king's immortality. This mask, now an icon of human history, embodies the Egyptians' belief in the afterlife and the pharaoh's divine role, its beauty a bridge between ancient faith and modern awe. The mask also played a crucial role in the pharaoh's journey to the Hall of Judgment, where Osiris weighed the heart against the feather of Ma'at, the principle of truth and balance. A pure heart, unburdened by sin, granted eternal life, but failure meant annihilation. The mask, with its divine features and inscribed spells, was believed to aid the pharaoh in this trial, presenting him as a god worthy of Osiris's favor. The mask's serene expression and royal symbols reassured the gods of the pharaoh's righteousness, while its magical inscriptions, often drawn from the Book of the Dead, provided guidance through the underworld's trials. In this cosmic courtroom, the mask was both advocate and armor, ensuring the pharaoh's heart was deemed light enough to join the gods. The divine connection embodied in the mask was no accident. The pharaoh was a living god, an incarnation of Horus in life and Osiris in death, and his mask reflected this dual identity. Its idealized features, broad forehead, almond eyes, and serene smile, were not realistic portraits but divine archetypes, blending the pharaoh's likeness with the eternal visage of the gods. This connection was reinforced by symbols like the false beard, a mark of divinity, and the Nemes headdress, striped with blue and gold, which linked the pharaoh to celestial power. The mask transformed the mortal king into a divine being, ensuring his place among the gods and his ability to mediate between them and humanity even in death. Each mask was a unique masterpiece, laden with specific symbols and inscriptions tailored to the pharaoh. The uraeus was omnipresent, its coiled cobra a fierce guardian of royal authority. The false beard, often braided and curved, echoed the iconography of Osiris and other deities. Hieroglyphs etched on the mask's shoulders or back invoked blessings or recorded the pharaoh's titles, such as Lord of the Two Lands. These details weren't decorative but deeply symbolic, each element a piece of the spiritual puzzle that ensured the pharaoh's safe passage and eternal reign. The mask was a canvas of power, its every curve and color a declaration of divine right. Over centuries, funerary masks evolved from simple wooden covers to elaborate gold masterpieces. In the Old Kingdom, masks were rudimentary, often painted wood or cartonnage, a plaster-like material designed to protect the face. By the New Kingdom, as Egypt's wealth and artistic skill peaked, masks became opulent, with Tutankhamun's as the zenith. This evolution mirrored changes in religious practices as beliefs about the afterlife grew more complex, and advances in metallurgy and craftsmanship allowed for greater splendor. The shift from wood to gold reflected not just wealth but a deepening faith in the mask's role as a divine instrument, capable of transcending death itself. While pharaohs' masks are the most celebrated, the practice extended to nobles and high-ranking officials, reflecting the widespread belief in afterlife protection. Elite families, such as viziers or high priests, commissioned simpler masks, often of cartonnage or gilded wood, to ensure their own spiritual safety. These masks, though less lavish, shared the same purpose, preserving identity and warding off evil. Tombs like those in the Valley of the Nobles reveal such masks, their presence a testament to the democratization of afterlife beliefs, where even non-royals aspired to divine protection, echoing the pharaoh's journey in their own modest way. The mask's role in mummification was integral. After the pharaoh's body was carefully embalmed, organs removed, body dried with natron, and wrapped in linen, the mask was placed over the head, securing the face's integrity. This was crucial as the face was the soul's gateway, and any damage could disrupt the afterlife. The mask was often fitted precisely to the mummy, its inner surface sometimes lined with resin to adhere to the wrappings. This act was both practical and sacred, completing the mummification process and preparing the pharaoh for his spiritual rebirth, his body whole and divine under the mask's golden gaze. The creation of these masks was a sacred collaboration between artisans and priests. Skilled craftsmen, often working in temple workshops, shaped the gold and set the gemstones, their work guided by precise religious specifications. Priests oversaw the process, chanting spells and performing rituals to infuse the mask with Heka. The opening of the mouth ceremony, performed on the mummy with the mask in place, was a pivotal moment, restoring the pharaoh's senses for the afterlife. This partnership ensured the mask was not just art, but a magical object, its creation a sacred act that bridged the human and divine. Beyond their spiritual role, masks served as propaganda, projecting the pharaoh's power even in death. Their grandeur, displayed during funerary processions or in temples, reminded the living of the king's divine status. The mask's image, replicated in statues and reliefs, reinforced the pharaoh's eternal presence, ensuring his legacy endured in the minds of his people. For a civilization that revered continuity, the mask was a visual manifesto, declaring the pharaoh's unending reign over Egypt even as his body lay in a tomb. The notion that masks were solely for physical protection is a modern misconception. While they shielded the mummy's face, their true purpose was spiritual and symbolic. The mask was a conduit for the soul, a protector against supernatural threats, and a declaration of divinity, far outweighing its role as a physical barrier. This misunderstanding often stems from early archaeology's focus on the mask's material value, but texts like the Book of the Dead and temple inscriptions reveal their deeper significance, rooted in the Egyptians' complex theology of the afterlife. Today, the allure of Pharaohs' masks captivates the world, their golden faces immortalized in museum exhibits and popular culture. From Hollywood films like The Mummy to novels and video games, the image of Tutankhamun's mask has become a symbol of mystery and ancient wisdom. This enduring fascination reflects the mask's power to connect us to a civilization that saw death not as an end, but as a new beginning. Their artistry and spirituality a beacon across millennia. As you drift to sleep, picture the golden mask gleaming in a darkened tomb, its serene eyes watching over a king who, even in death, reigns eternal, his soul soaring through the stars to join the gods. Story 3, Pharaohs and Aliens. Theories you've never heard. Beneath the golden sands of Egypt, where the pyramids cast their timeless shadows and the Nile whispers secrets of a bygone era, lies a civilization that has captivated the human imagination for millennia. The pharaohs, god-kings who ruled with divine authority, left behind monuments and mysteries that defy explanation. But what if their grandeur wasn't solely the work of human hands? What if the towering pyramids, intricate hieroglyphs, and enigmatic artifacts hint at something far stranger? A connection to beings from beyond the stars? The notion that extraterrestrials influenced ancient Egypt has sparked wild theories, blending archaeology with cosmic speculation. From the precision of the Great Pyramid to the otherworldly visages of Egypt's gods, these ideas challenge our understanding of history, inviting us to explore a narrative as thrilling as it is controversial. Let's embark on a journey through the uncharted realms of pharaohs and aliens, uncovering theories that stretch the boundaries of imagination. The origins of these extraterrestrial theories trace back to the 20th century, when writers like Erich von Däniken ignited global fascination with his book Chariots of the Gods. Von Däniken and other proponents of the ancient astronaut hypothesis argued that the technological and cultural achievements of ancient Egypt were too advanced for a civilization of its time, suggesting that extraterrestrials provided knowledge or tools to the pharaohs. This idea gained traction in an era of space exploration when humanity's gaze turned to the stars and UFO sightings fueled public curiosity. These theorists pointed to the pyramids' precision, the complexity of Egyptian religion, and cryptic artifacts as evidence of alien intervention, weaving a narrative that blended science fiction with archaeology. While mainstream scholars dismissed these claims as pseudoscience, the theories captivated a generation, sparking debates that continue to echo in modern discussions of Egypt's mysteries. The most compelling argument for alien involvement lies in the technological marvels of ancient Egypt, particularly the construction of the pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu around 2550 BCE, stands as a testament to engineering prowess. Its 3 million stone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons, aligned with astonishing precision. How did a civilization without modern machinery quarry, transport, and place these stones with such accuracy? Ancient astronaut theorists argue that this feat required advanced technology, possibly provided by extraterrestrial visitors. They point to the pyramid's alignment with the cardinal points and the constellation Orion as evidence of cosmic knowledge beyond human capability at the time. While archaeologists attribute these achievements to sophisticated ramps, levers, and a highly organized workforce, the sheer scale and precision fuel speculation that aliens lent a helping hand, perhaps guiding the Egyptians with advanced tools or even anti-gravity technology. Artistic representations in Egyptian tombs and temples add another layer to the mystery. Hieroglyphs and reliefs often depict figures with elongated heads, large eyes, or strange proportions, which some theorists interpret as depictions of extraterrestrial beings. For instance, carvings in the Temple of Seti at Abydos include images that resemble modern aircraft or flying saucers, dubbed the Abydos helicopter by enthusiasts. These anomalies, though explained by Egyptologists as palimpsests, overlapping carvings creating misleading shapes, are seen by believers as proof of alien visitations. Similarly, statues with unusual features like the almond-eyed bust of Nefertiti are cited as evidence of otherworldly influence, their stylized forms interpreted as attempts to capture the likeness of alien visitors. These artistic clues, while debated, fuel the imagination, suggesting that the Egyptians recorded encounters with beings from the stars. The Mask of Tutankhamun, one of Egypt's most iconic artifacts, is a focal point for some of the wilder theories. Discovered in 1922, the golden mask, with its serene, almost otherworldly expression and obsidian quartz eyes, has been described as having an alien quality. Some theorists argue that the mask's design, with its exaggerated features and celestial symbolism, reflects contact with an advanced intelligence. The eyes, in particular, are said to mimic the large, reflective gazes associated with extraterrestrial depictions in modern culture. While Egyptologists see the mask as a stylized representation of divine kingship, linking Tutankhamun to Osiris, ancient astronaut proponents suggest it encodes a deeper truth. A pharaoh in communion with cosmic beings, his mask a tribute to their influence. This theory, though far-fetched, adds a layer of intrigue to an already mesmerizing artifact. The gods of Egypt, with their animal-headed forms, are another cornerstone of extraterrestrial speculation. Anubis, with his jackal head, or Horus, depicted as a falcon, seem bizarre to modern eyes, prompting theories that these deities were inspired by alien visitors. Could these hybrid forms represent extraterrestrials with animal-like features, or advanced technology that mimicked animal traits? Some theorists propose that gods like Anubis were not mythological, but real beings who walked among the Egyptians, their strange appearances immortalized in art and worship. Mainstream scholars counter that these deities reflected the Egyptians' reverence for nature, with animals symbolizing divine attributes, jackals for death, falcons for the sky. Yet the alien hypothesis persists, painting the pantheon as a record of cosmic encounters, with the pharaohs as their earthly intermediaries. The construction of the pyramids remains a central enigma. Beyond their scale, the logistical challenges, transporting massive stones across the desert, lifting them into place, and aligning them with celestial precision, defy easy explanation. Ancient astronaut theorists argue that such feats required advanced technology, perhaps laser-like tools or levitation devices provided by aliens. They point to myths of gods descending from the heavens, like the sun god Ra, as veiled references to extraterrestrial landings. Archaeologists, however, cite evidence of ramps, sledges, and a vast labor force, possibly numbering tens of thousands, to explain the pyramid's construction. Still, the absence of definitive records detailing these methods leaves room for speculation, with some imagining alien engineers guiding Egyptian workers under the desert sun. The Book of the Dead, a collection of spells and incantations to guide the deceased through the afterlife, contains passages that some interpret as references to extraterrestrial beings. Phrases describing beings from the sky, or stars that walk, are seen by theorists as evidence of alien contact, with the gods' celestial origins hinting at spaceships rather than divine realms. For example, spells mentioning ladders to the sky or boats of the gods are interpreted as descriptions of spacecraft, ferrying pharaohs to other worlds. Egyptologists argue these texts are metaphorical, rooted in a cosmology where the afterlife was a celestial journey. Yet for believers, these cryptic lines suggest a forgotten history of cosmic visitors sharing wisdom with Egypt's rulers, encoded in sacred texts. Some go further, proposing that the entire Egyptian civilization was a product of extraterrestrial intervention. This theory suggests that aliens seeded advanced knowledge, astronomy, mathematics, architecture, jump-starting Egypt's rapid rise from a nomadic society to a monumental civilization. The sudden emergence of complex writing systems, precise engineering, and a sophisticated religion around 3100 BCE is seen as evidence of an external catalyst. Scholars counter that Egypt's development was a natural evolution driven by the Nile's fertility and trade networks. However, the idea that aliens provided a blueprint for Egypt's greatness resonates with those who see the pharaohs as custodians of cosmic secrets, their pyramids and temples built to honor their otherworldly benefactors. The pyramids themselves are often cast as more than tombs. Some theorists claim they were beacons or antennas for extraterrestrial communication. The Great Pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt and its internal chambers, like the King's Chamber, are said to resonate with cosmic frequencies, facilitating contact with alien civilizations. Proponents point to the pyramid's mathematical precision, its base forming a near-perfect square, and its proportions reflecting pi, as evidence of a design beyond human capability. Egyptologists explain these alignments as religious, tying the pharaoh's soul to the stars, but the beacon theory persists, imagining the pyramids as signals to distant worlds, their stones humming with extraterrestrial energy. The Great Pyramid's cosmic connections extend to theories of encoded messages. Its dimensions and orientation are said to embed astronomical data, such as the precession of the equinoxes or distances to other planets. Some claim the pyramid's layout mirrors a star map, guiding aliens to Earth or marking Egypt as a cosmic hub. These ideas draw on the work of researchers like Robert Bauval, who linked the Giza pyramids to Orion, though he stopped short of claiming alien involvement. For ancient astronaut theorists, these alignments are deliberate, a message to the stars crafted with alien guidance, the pharaohs acting as stewards of a galactic legacy. Ancient texts beyond the Book of the Dead fuel speculation with references to starmen or gods from the heavens. The pyramid texts carved in Old Kingdom tombs describe the pharaoh ascending to the stars, joining divine beings in the sky. Theorists interpret these as accounts of alien encounters, with the pharaohs taught by extraterrestrial mentors. Egyptologists see these texts as religious metaphors, but the ambiguity of terms like sky gods allows for alternative readings, painting the pharaohs as cosmic ambassadors, their reigns shaped by otherworldly wisdom. The role of the pharaohs themselves is central to these theories. Were they chosen by aliens to act as intermediaries, bridging humanity and extraterrestrial civilizations? Some speculate that the pharaohs' divine status was a literal truth, their bloodlines infused with alien DNA or their minds enlightened by cosmic knowledge. Rituals like the Sed Festival, which renewed the pharaoh's power, are seen as reenactments of alien encounters, with the king reaffirming his cosmic connection. While historians view the pharaohs as political and religious leaders, the alien hypothesis casts them as galactic emissaries, their authority derived from celestial overlords. Archaeological finds add fuel to the fire. Objects like the Saqqara bird, a wooden artifact resembling a modern glider, or the Dendera light, a relief some interpret as an electric bulb, are cited as evidence of advanced technology. These artifacts, explained by scholars as toys or symbolic carvings, are seen by theorists as remnants of alien influence, their purpose misunderstood by modern science. Similarly, The precision of tools found in tombs capable of cutting granite with laser-like accuracy raises questions about the Egyptians' capabilities, hinting at knowledge beyond their era. The influence of ancient astronaut theories has permeated popular culture, from films like Stargate, which imagines the pyramids as alien landing pads, to TV shows like Ancient Aliens, which explore these ideas in depth. Books, comics, and video games have embraced the narrative, casting pharaohs as cosmic collaborators. This cultural phenomenon has kept the theories alive, inspiring new generations to question Egypt's past. While these portrayals often prioritize drama over evidence, they reflect humanity's fascination with the unknown, blending history with the allure of the extraterrestrial. Yet skepticism abounds. Mainstream archaeologists and historians dismiss these theories, citing ample evidence of human ingenuity. The pyramids, they argue, were built with ramps, rollers, and a vast workforce, not alien technology. Hieroglyphs and art reflect a symbolic culture, not UFOs. Genetic studies show no extraterrestrial DNA in Egyptian remains, and texts like the Book of the Dead are firmly rooted in religious cosmology. Critics warn that ancient astronaut theories often underestimate the Egyptians' capabilities, projecting modern biases onto a sophisticated civilization. While the theories captivate, they lack concrete evidence, relying on speculation and reinterpretation. Still, they invite us to wonder, to question the boundaries of history, and to imagine a world where pharaohs gazed not just at the stars, but at the beings who might have come from them. As you drift to sleep, picture the pyramids glowing under a starlit sky, their stones whispering secrets of a civilization that reached for the heavens. Were the pharaohs guided by gods or something more? The truth, buried in the sands, remains as elusive as the stars themselves, inviting you to dream of a time when Egypt's rulers walked with beings from beyond. Story 4. What did the Egyptians do to never forget their dreams? In the heart of ancient Egypt, where the Nile's silver waters mirrored a sky ablaze with stars, dreams were far more than fleeting images of the night. They were sacred whispers from the gods, divine messages that carried the weight of prophecy, guidance, and healing. To the Egyptians, whose lives were woven with rituals to honor the eternal, dreams were a bridge to the divine, a realm where mortals could commune with deities like Thoth, Isis, or Bez. From the pharaoh in his opulent palace to the farmer in a mud-brick home, every Egyptian revered their dreams, employing an intricate array of rituals, amulets, and sacred practices to capture and preserve these nocturnal visions. As we journey into their world, imagine lying on a woven reed mat, the scent of myrrh lingering in the air, as the mysteries of Egyptian dreamcraft unfold in a tale as captivating as the pyramids themselves. Dreams held a revered place in Egyptian culture, seen as a direct line to the spiritual realm. The Egyptians believed that sleep opened a portal to the divine, where gods could speak to the living, offering insights that shaped both personal and collective destinies. A dream of a flooding Nile might signal Osiris's blessing for a bountiful harvest, while a vision of a serpent could warn of betrayal. These messages were not dismissed as mere fancy, but treated as sacred omens, guiding decisions from marriage to military campaigns. For the pharaoh, dreams were especially potent, often seen as divine mandates. The stela of Thutmose IV, for instance, recounts how a dream of the Sphinx led him to clear its sands and claim the throne, cementing his legitimacy. This belief permeated all levels of society, making dreams a vital thread in the tapestry of Egyptian life, where the mortal and divine danced in delicate balance. The Egyptians saw dreams as a form of communion with their gods, a nocturnal audience with the divine. Deities like Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, or Hathor, the goddess of love and beauty, were believed to use dreams to deliver guidance, warnings, or prophecies. A priest might dream of Anubis, signaling a need to prepare for death, while a mother might see Isis, promising fertility or protection for her child. These visions were taken with utmost seriousness, often recorded and analyzed for their divine intent. The Dream Book, a New Kingdom papyrus, catalogued common dream symbols, cats for good fortune, falling for misfortune, showing how deeply the Egyptians trusted these messages. For them, the night was a sacred stage where the gods' voices echoed, shaping the fate of individuals and the kingdom itself. To invite such divine dreams, the Egyptians performed elaborate rituals before sleep, transforming bedtime into a sacred ceremony. These practices varied by status but shared a common purpose: to purify the body and mind for divine communion. A noble might bathe in water infused with lotus flowers, their scent believed to please the gods, while a priest anointed himself with oils sacred to Thoth. Families lit oil lamps and burned myrrh or frankincense, their smoke curling upward as an offering to invite clear visions. Prayers to Bez, the dwarf-like god who protected against nightmares, were whispered, his jovial image carved on headrests to guard the sleeper. These rituals, performed in the flickering glow of lamplight, created a sanctified space, aligning the dreamer's soul with the divine and ensuring that the gods' messages arrived unclouded. Amulets were essential in this dreamcraft, believed to protect the sleeper and anchor their visions in memory. Crafted from faience, turquoise, or carnelian, these charms were inscribed with potent symbols like the Eye of Horus, which repelled evil, or the scarab, a sign of rebirth. Worn as necklaces or tucked beneath pillows, amulets shielded the dreamer from malevolent spirits that might distort their dreams or erase them upon waking. The Wedjat eye, in particular, was prized for its ability to preserve dream memories, ensuring the sleeper awoke with every detail intact. Priests blessed these amulets in temple rituals, infusing them with Heka, the magical force that powered Egyptian spirituality. For the Egyptians, these talismans were not mere ornaments, but sacred tools, their presence a quiet promise that the gods' messages would endure the dawn. The act of recording dreams was a serious endeavor, reflecting their cultural weight. Scribes, skilled in hieroglyphs, documented significant dreams on papyrus, creating what we might call the world's first dream diaries. These records, often stored in temple archives or royal libraries, preserved the visions of pharaohs, priests, and nobles, ensuring their divine insights were not lost. The Dream Book from the Ramesside period, for example, lists hundreds of dream scenarios and their meanings, from dreaming of a snake, a warning of conflict, to seeing a star, a sign of divine favor. These writings were more than personal journals. They were communal treasures, consulted by priests to guide the kingdom, or by individuals seeking clarity. By etching dreams onto papyrus, the Egyptians ensured their divine messages stood as eternal as their stone monuments. Temples dedicated to dreams, known as houses of life, were sacred sanctuaries where Egyptians sought divine visions through a practice called dream incubation. These temples, often dedicated to deities like Serapis or Imhotep, were places of pilgrimage where seekers slept in special chambers to receive divine guidance. Priests prepared supplicants with fasting, prayers, and offerings, guiding them into a state of spiritual readiness. In the Temple of Hathor at Dendera, for instance, sleepers might seek visions of healing or prophecy, their dreams interpreted by trained priests upon waking. These sacred spaces, adorned with starry ceilings and lotus columns, created an atmosphere of divine connection, where the boundary between the mortal and divine blurred, and dreams became a conduit for divine will. The Egyptians also believed that diet influenced the clarity of dreams. Before sleep, they consumed specific foods and drinks thought to enhance dream vividness and recall. Honey, dates, and herbs like chamomile were favored, their sweetness or calming properties believed to please the gods and open the mind to visions. Infusions of lotus or mandrake, known for their mild psychoactive effects, were sometimes used by priests or nobles to induce lucid dreams. These dietary practices were not random but carefully prescribed, often guided by temple healers who understood the link between body and soul. By nourishing the body with sacred foods, the Egyptians prepared themselves to receive and remember the gods' messages, their meals a prelude to divine communion. To fix dreams in memory, the Egyptians practiced a technique of mental repetition. Upon waking, they would silently recount the dream's details, focusing on key images or sensations to anchor them in their mind. This practice, akin to modern journaling, was believed to strengthen the dream's hold, preventing it from slipping away like mist. Some might whisper the dream aloud, offering it to Thoth, the god of memory, to ensure its permanence. This ritual of repetition was especially important for significant dreams, such as those guiding a pharaoh's policy or a priest's prophecy. By mentally retracing their visions, the Egyptians wove them into their waking lives, ensuring the gods' messages were not lost to the morning light. Symbols played a powerful role in evoking specific dreams. The Egyptians placed objects inscribed with sacred imagery, scarabs, ankhs, or images of Bes, near their beds to influence the content of their visions. A merchant seeking prosperity might sleep with a scarab amulet, hoping to dream of abundance, while a mother might place an Isis figurine under her pillow to dream of her child's future. These symbols were believed to act as beacons, drawing the gods' attention and shaping the dreamer's journey through the night. Temples sometimes provided such objects, blessed by priests to enhance their potency. By surrounding themselves with these sacred signs, the Egyptians crafted their dreamscapes, inviting visions that aligned with their deepest desires or needs. Priests were the guardians of this dreamcraft, serving as interpreters and teachers of the art of dreaming. Trained in the esoteric lore of temples, these dream priests analyzed visions, drawing on texts like the Dream Book to decipher their meanings. A dream of a crocodile might warn of hidden enemies, while a vision of the Nile flooding could promise fertility. These priests also taught techniques for dream recall, such as meditation or the use of amulets, ensuring that even commoners could access divine wisdom. Their role was vital, as a misinterpreted dream could lead to disaster, while a correctly understood one might save a life or guide a kingdom. Through their expertise, priests ensured that dreams remained a living part of Egyptian spirituality, their interpretations a bridge between the mortal and divine. Meditation and mental preparation were key to vivid dreaming. Before sleep, Egyptians practiced deep relaxation, often lying in silence to clear their minds of worldly distractions. Some recited mantras or visualized sacred symbols, aligning their thoughts with the divine. Priests might guide supplicants through breathing exercises, slowing the heart and calming the soul to invite clear, memorable dreams. This meditative state, akin to modern mindfulness, was believed to heighten the dreamer's sensitivity to divine messages, making their visions more vivid and easier to recall. By cultivating this tranquil mindset, the Egyptians opened their souls to the gods, their dreams a canvas for divine artistry. Dreams were also seen as powerful tools for healing, a belief that underscored their importance. The Egyptians thought that gods like Imhotep, the deified physician, could diagnose illnesses or prescribe cures through dreams. A sick person might visit a temple, sleep in a sacred chamber, and awaken with a vision of herbs or rituals to restore their health. Remembering these dreams was crucial, as forgetting could mean missing a divine cure. Priests and healers recorded these visions, ensuring the prescribed treatments were followed. This belief in dream healing was so strong that even pharaohs sought such visions, their health tied to the kingdom's prosperity. Dreams in this way were not just spiritual but practical, a lifeline to physical and spiritual well-being. The use of incense was another cherished practice, its fragrant smoke believed to summon clear and significant dreams. Myrrh, frankincense, and Campfire, a blend of herbs, resins, and honey, were burned in homes and temples, their aromas thought to please the gods and open the mind to visions. The scent of Campfire in particular was prized for its calming effects, creating a dream-friendly atmosphere. Priests might waft incense over a sleeper during incubation rituals, ensuring their dreams were vivid and divine. This practice, blending sensory pleasure with spiritual purpose, transformed the act of sleep into a sacred journey, the smoke a pathway to the gods' embrace. Magical texts and incantations were recited to ensure dream recall, their words infused with Heka. Before sleep, Egyptians might chant spells from the Book of the Dead or temple hymns, invoking Thoth or Isis to preserve their visions. These formulas, often inscribed on amulets or whispered in the dark, were believed to bind the dream to the sleeper's memory, preventing it from fading. A common incantation might call on the gods to fix the vision in my heart, ensuring the dreamer awoke with clarity. These texts were not mere words but magical acts, their recitation a ritual that wove the dream into the fabric of reality, making it as enduring as the Nile itself. The influence of dreams on daily life was profound, shaping decisions from the mundane to the monumental. A pharaoh might delay a battle based on a dream of defeat, as seen in accounts of Ramesses Stone consulting his visions before campaigns. A merchant might choose a trade route after dreaming of a safe journey, while a mother might name her child based on a divine vision. These decisions, guided by dreams, reinforced their cultural importance, as forgetting a dream could mean missing a divine command. The Egyptians' meticulous efforts to preserve their dreams through rituals, amulets, and records ensured that these nocturnal messages remained a guiding light, illuminating the path of their lives and their kingdom. As you drift into sleep, picture yourself in an Egyptian bedchamber, the air thick with the scent of Campfire, a scarab amulet resting beneath your pillow. The Nile murmurs outside and the gods wait in the stars, ready to speak through your dreams. In this ancient world, where every vision was a gift from the divine, the Egyptians crafted a legacy of dreamcraft that still captivates us, their rituals a reminder that even in sleep, we can touch the eternal. Story 5. Who really built the pyramids of Egypt? In the shadow of the Great Pyramid of Giza, where the desert sun blazes and the sands whisper tales of eternity, lies one of humanity's greatest enigmas. The pyramids, towering testaments to ancient Egypt's ambition, have stood for over 4,500 years, their stones silent witnesses to a civilization that seemed to defy the limits of time and technology. Who built these colossal structures, aligning them with cosmic precision and stacking millions of tons of stone with breathtaking accuracy? The answer, woven from archaeological discoveries, ancient texts, and enduring myths, is as complex as it is captivating. From skilled Egyptian workers to whispers of extraterrestrial aid, the story of the pyramid's construction is a saga of ingenuity, devotion, and mystery, inviting us to step into a world where gods and mortals worked side by side to touch the eternal. The prevailing narrative, grounded in decades of archaeological evidence, points to the Egyptians themselves as the masterminds behind the pyramids. Far from the Hollywood image of whip-driven slaves, the builders were skilled laborers, drawn from a society that revered the pharaoh as a living god. The Great Pyramid, built for Pharaoh Khufu around 2550 BCE, required an estimated 20,000 to 40,000 workers, including quarrymen, masons, and haulers, who toiled over 2 decades. These were not enslaved masses, but a dedicated workforce, organized with military precision and fueled by a shared purpose to ensure their king's journey to the afterlife. Excavations at Giza reveal workers' cemeteries with well-preserved remains, showing signs of medical care, and a diet rich in bread and meat, suggesting they were valued members of society, not disposable labor. This official account, supported by inscriptions and tools, paints a picture of a civilization capable of extraordinary feats through sheer human effort and organization. At the heart of this effort were artisans and engineers, the unsung architects of Egypt's wonders. These skilled professionals, masons who carved stone with copper chisels, architects who calculated angles with plumb bobs, and engineers who designed ramps, formed a sophisticated hierarchy. The architect Imhotep, who designed the step pyramid for Pharaoh Djoser, is a legendary figure, deified for his genius. These experts worked alongside quarrymen who extracted limestone from nearby Tura and granite from distant Aswan, their precision ensuring each block fits seamlessly. The workers' villages, like those uncovered near Giza, reveal a bustling community of specialists, from carpenters crafting sledges to scribes recording progress. This wasn't chaotic labor but a symphony of expertise, each artisan contributing to a monumental legacy that would echo through the ages. The discovery of these workers' villages has revolutionized our understanding of the pyramid builders' lives. Excavations led by archaeologists like Mark Lehner in the 1980s uncovered settlements complete with bakeries, breweries, and infirmaries, painting a vivid picture of a well-fed, well-housed workforce. Workers consumed hearty meals of bread, beer, and occasional beef, their bones showing signs of strenuous labor, but also medical interventions like splinted fractures. Burials in nearby cemeteries, some with modest tombs, indicate respect for their contributions, with inscriptions praising their role in the pharaoh's divine project. These findings debunk the myth of a downtrodden labor force, revealing instead a community of skilled workers who lived with purpose, their days filled with camaraderie, and their nights warmed by fires under the desert stars. Yet not everyone accepts this grounded explanation. Some propose a far more fantastical theory, that extraterrestrials built or aided in constructing the pyramids, popularized by authors like Erich von Däniken in Chariots of the Gods. This hypothesis points to the pyramids' precision, aligned to within a fraction of a degree with the cardinal points, and their massive scale as evidence of technology beyond human capability. Proponents argue that aliens provided advanced tools, perhaps anti-gravity devices or lasers, to move and place the stones. They cite the pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt and mathematical ratios like pi as signs of cosmic knowledge. While archaeologists dismiss these claims, citing human ingenuity and practical techniques, the alien theory persists, fueled by the pyramid's awe-inspiring presence and the gaps in our understanding of their construction. The Egyptians' success, according to mainstream scholars, relied on ingenious yet simple tools and techniques. Workers used copper chisels, dolerite hammers, and wooden sledges to quarry and transport stones, often sliding them over wetted sand to reduce friction. Ramps, straight, zigzagging, or encircling, allowed teams to haul blocks up the pyramid's growing slopes, a method supported by remnants found at sites like Lisht. Levers and rollers helped position stones with precision, while plumb bobs and sighting instruments ensured alignment. These techniques, though labor-intensive, were within the Egyptians' grasp, their mastery evident in the seamless joints of the Great Pyramid's casing stones. This blend of brute force and clever engineering transformed the desert into a stage for architectural immortality, proving that human hands could achieve the seemingly impossible. The workforce was largely seasonal, drawn from Egypt's agricultural population during the Nile's annual flood when farming paused. From July to November, when fields were submerged, thousands of men, possibly volunteers or conscripted laborers, flocked to Giza, Saqqara, or Dashur. These workers, organized into crews with names like friends of Khufu, lived in temporary camps, their labor a form of state service. Papyrus records, like the Diary of Mera from Wadi al-Jarf, detail how teams transported stone by boat, revealing a logistical network that rivaled modern projects. This seasonal rhythm tied the pyramids to the Nile's cycles, blending human effort with the land's natural pulse, each block a testament to Egypt's unity and devotion. The pyramids were more than architectural feats. They were religious and political statements, embodying the pharaoh's divine power and his quest for immortality. In Egyptian cosmology, the pyramid was a cosmic ladder, its sloping sides guiding the king's soul to the stars. Building such a monument was a sacred act, ensuring the pharaoh's eternal reign and Egypt's stability. Politically, it unified the nation, rallying resources and labor under a single purpose. The cost was immense: thousands of workers, vast quarries, and years of effort. But the payoff was a legacy that proclaimed the pharaoh's godhood to both the living and the gods. This spiritual and political weight drove the Egyptians to pour their hearts into these monuments, each stone a prayer for eternity. The stones themselves tell a story of logistical genius. Most of the Great Pyramid's limestone came from nearby Giza quarries, while its gleaming casing stones were shipped from Tura, 10 miles away. Granite for the inner chambers, weighing up to 80 tons, was quarried in Aswan, 500 miles south, and floated down the Nile on barges. The Diary of Mera describes these journeys, with crews navigating the river to deliver blocks to Giza's harbour. Workers then drag the stones across the plateau, likely using sledges and ramps. The scale of this operation, quarrying, transporting, and placing millions of stones, required meticulous planning, with supply chains stretching across Egypt, a feat that rivals modern engineering in its ambition and precision. Scribes and supervisors were the backbone of this operation, ensuring every detail was recorded and executed flawlessly. Scribes tracked stone deliveries, worker attendance, and tool inventories on papyrus, their records ensuring accountability. Supervisors, often elite officials, oversaw crews, enforcing schedules and quality standards. Marks on the stones, team names like enduring ones or measurements, reveal a bureaucratic system as sophisticated as the pyramids themselves. These administrators, working from shaded tents or mud brick offices, coordinated a workforce that spanned thousands, their oversight ensuring the pyramid rose with mathematical precision, a monument to both divine will and human organization. Recent discoveries have deepened our understanding, dispelling myths and confirming the Egyptians' role. In 2013, the Wadi al-Jarf papyri found near the Red Sea detailed stone transport logistics, while infrared scans of the Great Pyramid revealed hidden chambers, hinting at construction techniques. Workers' tombs with skeletons showing signs of healed injuries suggest medical care, and bread ovens in their villages indicate a well-fed workforce. Tools like copper drills and dolerite hammers found in situ confirm the use of simple but effective technology. These findings, unearthed from the sands, paint a vivid picture of a skilled, organized society, silencing doubts about their ability to build without supernatural aid. Far from being a punishment, pyramid construction was a source of pride. Workers, often drawn from rural communities, saw their labor as a sacred duty, a chance to serve the god-king and earn divine favor. Burials with offerings and inscriptions suggest they were honored, their tombs a testament to their role in eternity. The Diary of Mera describes workers with pride in their tasks, and graffiti on stones bears their crew names, a mark of camaraderie. This sense of purpose transformed backbreaking labors into a noble endeavor, each block a step toward immortality for both the pharaoh and those who built his tomb. Yet, some techniques remain elusive, fueling speculation about lost methods. How did workers achieve such precise alignments or cut granite so cleanly? Some suggest ramps with counterweights or water-filled channels to float stones, but no definitive evidence exists. These gaps, while small, keep the pyramid's construction partly shrouded in mystery, inviting theories of forgotten ingenuity. Archaeologists continue to study quarry marks and ramp remnants, piecing together a puzzle that may never be fully solved, yet each discovery reaffirms the Egyptians' mastery, their secrets perhaps hidden in plain sight. The myth of Hebrew slaves, popularized by biblical narratives and films like the Exodus, has been largely debunked. Archaeological evidence places the pyramid's construction centuries before the likely time of any Hebrew presence in Egypt, and no records mention enslaved foreigners building them. Instead, the workers were native Egyptians, their labor a voluntary or state-mandated service. This misconception, born from later cultural narratives, obscures the true story of a united Egypt, where laborers worked not in chains but with purpose, their efforts a cornerstone of their civilization's greatness. Could other cultures have influenced the pyramids? While Egypt was relatively isolated, trade with Nubia, the Levant, and Mesopotamia brought ideas and materials. Tools like bronze chisels may reflect foreign techniques, and the step pyramid's design could draw on Mesopotamian ziggurats. However, the pyramid's unique form, sloping sides symbolizing a cosmic ladder, suggests a distinctly Egyptian innovation. Cultural exchange likely enriched their methods, but the vision and execution were Egypt's own, a fusion of local genius and borrowed insights that created something unmatched in the ancient world. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. You're a true champion if you're still awake. Before you head off, please give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below. Share where you're listening from, your thoughts on the story, or even ideas for our next video. Your comments inspire us to keep creating and help our stories reach more people. We read and respond to everyone. We've reached the end of another story, but if you're not ready to sleep and want to keep diving into this journey of knowledge, click on the video popping up on your screen right now. I'll see you there. Until next time.